What is Japanese minimalism? You immediately might think of Japanese Zen garden, or Japanese temple, a Japanese room with much space. You might be also creating Japanese style of interior, minimalistic interior, by reducing things, reducing the quantity, the numbers of what you have to create this minimalism. And of course, we reduce, but actually Japanese minimalism is coming from creating a space called ma. In Japanese interior and also in art, creating space, creating empty space is important. So this ma is the space in between, in physical space, also in mental space. Also in our conversation, we take some space, empty space, even in our conversation, to have a room to connect to each other in energy. So then in the interior, we also create certain space, sacred space, where we can also feel peace. And it's also related to how our mind works as well. When outside is minimalistic environment, also our mind also starts becoming calmer, and we have less thinking because we have less impulse from outward. So we start focusing on one thing. And also in this kind of environment of empty environment, it is easier to focus on ourselves, and we can also start from this minimalistic approach from the outer world or also from our inner world. For example, we can also focus on one activity at a time. In the morning, we get up and we brush our teeth, and even when we are doing this simple activity of brushing our teeth or making our bed, just focus on this activity, just one activity without thinking. Always it's easier for our brain, our mind, to think about other things. Especially in the morning, we are rushing and we say, oh, I have to answer that email, or I have to catch that train. And then we start feeling space of our mind to think about other things, which is not happening right now. If you like to do that, that's okay. But when we focus on our simple activity, when we are brushing our teeth, just focusing on that sensation and occupy this space that we can use. So from brushing teeth and making coffee or making tea or having breakfast, when we focus on this moment, then we can also focus on our outer world and connect with outer world and connect with the person in front of you, and then really engage 100% on this moment, in the present moment. So that means both our inner world and outer world. Minimalism is coming from just focusing on one activity, creating priority, and then we can fill this space of inner world and outer world. And in order to create this space in the interior, of course we can also start from reducing things, but also we can focus on what is important in this room, then take out other things. If we start by reducing, it will be difficult. But if we focus on what is important in this room, what I like in this room, then start reducing something which is not related, then it becomes much easier to create and design your own environment. Also, when we do that, our focus will be prioritize theme, which you can also develop yourself to deepen your knowledge there. And in this beautiful space, your theme becomes very clear. Then also you have more time because you don't have to think about other items in the room. So it's reflect in both ways, from outer world, also from the inner world. So it's interact especially when we are stressed and when we are pressured, or if you feel burnout. This is something that you can actually start practicing. Sometimes if it's difficult to train our mind to focus on one activity, or if you are chased by lots of thoughts, then start focusing on what is important in your living area or in the kitchen, and then develop things from there. So if you're a coffee drinker, and then you can focus on coffee themed items in the kitchen, and then reduce what you don't need, and then you can create more space and you can focus on one theme. And that also goes to if you go to the living room, you can focus on what you like and color scheme or even the music. And so if you have so many different interests, I do as well, but then once we focus on one theme, then you can change in the next season, for example. Like in Japan, in the Japanese room, we have an area called Tokono-ma, and there the space, empty space, and we change the Japanese art we display according to the seasons and also according to the occasions. So in the New Year, for example, we focus on New Year theme. So then we have the art for New Year celebrations and some auspicious symbols as well. So we can just focus on one theme, and according to the season, we can change the colors and then make it just one focus. And then our mind can also focus on one theme, and we can create minimalistic way of living, both our inner world and outer world. Applying this Japanese traditional minimalistic way of living would also help to prevent burnout or stress in our life. Especially now, we are so much bombarded with informations and day after day, and it is very easy for our mind to be overloaded by much information, unnecessary information. So in a way, it is also very crucial to focus on and to learn and also to choose what is important, prioritize the things which are important in our life. So for example, if we use social media, because AI will bring so many different things, and we end up in a situation that we have no control of all the information we receive. So we can start from focusing on one single activity to focus our mind into one single activity. And we also monitor our engagement with our phone and also laptop or any other electric device to keep monitoring what's coming to our life, the information. So then we can focus on what we are interested in, what we think it's important, then this field can expand more and we can actually explore, and we can also at the same time we can create more room in our life and more room to expand our energy and expand to grow as a person. And it will bring inner peace in everyday life, and especially if we can focus, when we focus, we also reduce the choices. When we have too many choices, it's also very difficult to make a choice. So we can reduce these selections and focusing on what is important and what we can prioritize. We can create more space in between the moments, and focus on every moment and expand our energy. Also, for our creation, from even decorating our plate, for example, instead of filling our plate with so much food, if we intentionally make space in the plate to decorate our plate, then it becomes more delicious as well. And also, if you create space to serve, instead of putting as much as possible in your plate, it's also the eating becomes more enjoyable, and eating becomes the art as well. You may have seen in traditional Japanese restaurant how we serve. There are so much space in the plates. And also if you go to this Michelin star restaurant, there are much space in one plate. So we can actually do that at home as well. And not only the interior, but also the art of food and how we serve our food. And even if you're eating alone, when we bring and when we take more moments to make one plate more beautiful with the space, then we can enjoy one taste more because we have more space to enjoy. And this also helps for our digestion, and also if you are conscious about losing weight, this is another way to do that. So instead of filling plate with too much food, you can actually create space. That's applied to art and interior in every part of life. Another tip for minimalistic idea is about our clothing, especially when we are traveling, and I do as well. If we pick maybe 2 colors as a theme, and then it really helps to pack our clothes, and also it will be easier to manage our traveling. So I do, especially for my work, my creative work related, I have black and gold or this type of yellow because this is my theme color. And if it's more business, corporate, I choose black and beige, white, that kind of color, but mainly very simple color tone. So maybe for corporate work, I would maybe choose black, gray kind of theme. So then it actually helps to reduce for our packing time. And also we can make more space in the suitcase and in your bag as well. So we can keep that minimalistic idea always in your mind. Also managing our electric device as well and try to create space. I actually have to do that as well. So it becomes more fun to create space and see where we can actually create more space in your life.